this grand final. But here we go. Team Aqua versus Team Black. Starting now, everybody use your points on whoever you guys think is going to win this series. Do you think Team Black are going to get the win, or do you think that Team Aqua are going to get the win on their shoulders? It looks like that's going to be a great pass right off the bat here for Team Black, and they're going to get the first goal on the board. One thing that we have to keep in mind from Team Aqua is that they have the main league experience. Even though that Matthias and Savage aren't high enough rank for main league anymore, experience against those high-level teams do go a long way. And it's something that Team Black don't have at this moment in time, but they definitely do have the experience winning, and Team Aqua don't. So that's something we do have to keep in consideration, as they're already putting the ball in the back of the net once again. Team Black are looking on fire. Now 2-0 already, 32 seconds into the game, and they're continuing to look like a very strong roster. But that's what we do have to consider at this moment in time, is how well Team Aqua will play. They've been doing well against every single other team in this bracket so far. However, they've not faced Team Sapphire or Team Black at all this entire tournament. They've essentially had the dream bracket, and they've ended up getting that dream bracket because they've ended up sweeping every single one of their series. However, now that they're in the grand finals, they're going to try and show up and step up when it matters most. Otherwise, Team Black are going to become those back-to-back champions. Ball will bounce out mid, but it looks like it's going to be stopped at the midfield line by Confucius Dragon. He will look for a follow-up once again, just isn't able to get the ball. It's going to be over to Savage. Savage puts the ball forward. It's going to be taken over by Savage once again. Sets up his teammate. Ball will end up going under. Matthias can't place this shot, and that's one player that we're going to be really having to look up for in this series is Matthias Maximus. When he's playing against those lower-level teams, he'll put the ball in the back of the net every single time. But now we got to see how he'll do against teams that know what they're doing, and that's going to be a backflip by Savage. However, Matthias is going to get the save. Savage now looking for a solo play, flicks the ball over JR, and that's going to be a one-goal game now as Team Aqua bring it back within one. Remember, everybody in chat, though, if you guys want any of your favorite teams to have a chance to win anything in the prize pool, if you go down to the donations button down below, all donations through using that button down below will be given to the players at the very end of the season. So if you guys do want to support your players, give them something a little bit extra to work for, you guys will be able to go to the donation button down below and support there. All 100% of it goes to the teams. But now, 3 minutes left in the clock. Team Black still with the lead, looking to try and make it as easy as possible on themselves to become the back-to-back champions, essentially the BDS of Academy League. But now it's over to JR. JR puts the ball off the backboard. It's going to be followed up now by Savage. Savage onto the backboard once again. Ends up not being able to go to the backboard, but Confucius Dragon will be able to maintain possession. Ball gets popped out and forward. Now over to JR. JR out mid. Now over to Savage. Savage pops the ball high and forward over off the corner wall. He's now going to be followed up once again. Now back out mid to the backboard. Follow up here from Savage, and Savage isn't able to get back to it. It's going to be over to Matthias once more. Over to the corner wall. Now back over to Pastafarian. Ball's going to get hit to the backboard once again. 2 minutes left on the clock, and Cannoli again looking strong. Ball to the backboard, over to Savage, and Savage will push the ball forward, and it's going to be back over to Matthias. Matthias trying to maintain possession. He'll flick the ball forward. Now back over to Savage, and they're going to tie up the game. Team Aqua managing to tie up the game here with 2 minutes still left during the game. They are looking extremely strong at this moment in time. Can we see them keep doing well, or will we see the likes of Team Black manage to continue to try and avoid losing the lead? But now, over to Matthias. Matthias looks for a shot. It's going to be saved away by JR, but Team Aqua looking far more confident on the offensive side compared to Team Sapphire, which is not something that a lot of people may have been expecting when they look at this Team Aqua squad. However, they're continuing to look like a very dominant force. Matthias will pop the ball high and forward. It's going to be over to Pastafarian. Cannoli isn't able to get the touch that he needs on the ball. It's going to be back to the backboard, pinches the ball forward. Now back over to Savage. Savage ends up not being able to get back to it. It's going to be over to Confucius Dragon. To the backboard, looking for the follow-up. Isn't able to get the follow, but it's going to be over to Matthias. But Matthias ends up putting it over to the sidewall as he was not able to maintain possession on that one. It's going to allow Team Sapphire, it's going to allow Team Aqua to continue to put pressure on this ball. Look right here. We have not left the offensive half here for Team Aqua in a little while now. But luckily for Team Black, they have Pastafarian and JR to get the ball out. That's going to be JR looking for a solo play. Couldn't get it under the last defender in Confucius Dragon. And still going to be a shot on target here. A little bit wide, but JR will put the ball in the back of the net. And with a minute remaining, Team Black still looking like the stronger team. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's a great start for both of these teams. They're going to have to continue to try and do their best to remain strong. Now, ball back over to JR. JR pops the ball high and wide. Now over to Cannoli. Cannoli looks at the shot. It's going to be wide, but you know what? We'll score it next time here is Team Black's idea. Now it's going to be over to Matthias. Matthias to the backboard. Back over to Cannoli. Cannoli will try and maintain team possession here as he tries to put it closer over to JR. Now over to Savage. Savage up the corner. He's going to be looking for his follow-up. Is now going to be put over to Cannoli. Cannoli with the follow-up. Now back to Matthias. And now it's going to be once again cleared down the field by the likes of JR. Here's the follow-up. Matthias will end up getting the bump. Now back over to the corner. Confucius isn't able to get back to the ball. It's going to be over to Cannoli. Cannoli puts the ball off the sidewall once again. Over to JR. Ball back over to the corner, over to Savage. Savage follows it up, and now the ball touch. Oh, 5 minutes left on the clock, and we're going to see who will be our regional champions. And Cannoli already starting off strong with a great strike. Pasta with the follow-up, and he gets the goal lead. Pastafarian stepping up once again. There we go. After an amazing strike there from Cannoli, it's going to be another follow-up from Pastafarian. It's going to allow his team to really step up when it matters most. Ball hit over to the side wall, over to Confucius, and he wasn't able to get back to it. And now back over to Matthias. Matthias ends up leaving it. JR looking for the air dribble bump. Will not get the goal, and Savage trying to maintain possession. Ball off the backboard. Follow it up here from JR. JR now trying to put some pressure on the Team Aqua defense. Ball up from Cannoli. Isn't able to get the strike this time. He's been having some pretty solid strikes throughout this entirety of tonight, but he wasn't able to connect there in the grand final when the nerves are highest. Ball gets pinched up. Over to Cannoli. Cannoli over to Pastafarian. Pastafarian to the backboard. It's going to be back to Cannoli. And Cannoli will now try to maintain possession. Ball back to the over the side wall. Over to JR. JR ends up trying to look for another 50-50. Just isn't able to get back to it. But now it looks like let's go to the chat to see what the experts think. Everybody in chat, what do you guys think that Team Black and Team Aqua have to do respectively in order to get this win? Looks like we need a full Italian meal, cannolis and pasta with a side of JR. There we go. But now back over to the likes of Confucius Dragon, over to Matthias Maximus. Matthias can't get back to the ball. It's going to be over to Pastafarian. Pasta back out mid over to Savage. Savage will look for the shot, but it's going to be wide and nothing's going to happen there. But now JR looking for the follow-up over to Savage. Savage isn't getting bumped. It's going to be a shot on target, and Cannoli will get his first goal of the game. Team Black once again leading by 2. This is what we want to see out of Team Black. Team Black, they want to make it to the promotion relegation tournament. This win here will bring them to 602 points in the standing with 2 tournament wins on the board. However, Confucius Dragon, he is not done with this series just yet, not done with this game just yet, as he brings it back within 1. Looks like we got a message here from the great almighty Jakeys. I think Aqua need to score more goals than Black. That would indeed be the intuitive response, Jakeys. Great job. Ball back over to Matthias, over to the side wall. Now back to the backboard. It's going to be taken over now by Confucius. He's going to be looking for a pass mid. Just isn't able to connect, and Savage will look to be the one to extend the ball to the backboard. Confucius tries to pop the ball out mid and follow it up. Ends up getting a 50-50, but it's going to be taken by Matthias. Matthias ends up fake challenging. It's going to be back over to Savage. Ball will get 50'd out really, really wide there. It's going to be taken over now by JR. Double commit from JR and Vostafarian. Now back over to Matthias Maximus. He looks for the air dribble. He puts it over one, and that's going to be a tied game. Very reminiscent of what happened in game number 2. Team Aqua managed to tie it up once again. There we go. Another goal on the board. Team Aqua tying it up. Team Black once again going to have to try and regain the lead. Looks like we got a new first-time chatter in chat. Hello to Music. Hello. Ooh, sexy shot indeed, indeed. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the league. Hope you're having a fantastic night. But now, 2.5 minutes left on the clock. Both these teams tied neck and neck. And we're going to be looking to try and get the lead on the board once again. Confucius looking for the shot. It's going to be high. And Pasta will clear the ball down the field. Team Black currently have the lead in the series. And if they manage to win this game, they're going to be on triple championship point. All they have to do is win one of the next 3 matches if they can finish up this series. There's another message here from Jakeys. I think Aqua need to get bumps and demos. I think that's a good start. That would indeed be a good start. However, bumps and demos can only do so much if they aren't taking possession in the first place. Team Aqua, if they can continue to do these air dribbles that we're seeing out of them, but look for more demos on the back line. Maybe they can start opening up the space. But right now, Team Aqua, even though it's tied, do not look like the favorites in this series. Hello, Music. What ranks are these teams? We are currently looking at Academy League, which is every Friday at 6 p.m. PST, which is our ranks from C3 and below. However, if you do want to see our main league teams, which are from SSL down to Grand Champ 1, with the majority of them being GC1 and SSL, show up tomorrow, same exact stream at 6 p.m. PST. You'll be able to watch our SSL teams and our other almost SSL teams face off against each other in our main league. Happens every single week. But right now, Academy, they're currently in their second tournament of the split. And if Team Black manage to win this, they're going to get a ton of points to potentially clinch a spot into the promotion relegation tournament. Based on rotation and challenging, I assume Aqua is not having good comms. Great insight there from the Team Gold member in Cosmic. Of course, everybody congratulate Cosmic. Right now, he is currently at the top of the standings in Main League. It's the first time ever in the Main League in Havoc in general, and he's already at the top of the standings, only losing to one team. If I remember correctly, I don't remember what exact team they lost to. It may have been Team Blue. I'm not entirely sure who they lost to, but overall they've been looking really strong, beating Team White, beating Team Cyan and a bunch of other teams. Very solid gameplay coming out from that. But there you go. Remember to use the Discord channel, and you'll be able to not just be able to join the league and talk to everybody, as well as join our watch party tomorrow, but you will also be able to talk with everybody else, including myself, as we like to hang out in the voice calls every single day. Okay, here we go to the kickoff, and we already have our first overtime of the grand final. Here we go, though. Can Team Black go on triple championship point, or will the series be tied? Remember, if Team Aqua lose this match, they're going to have to try and reverse sweep in a grand final. It's not like it's impossible, but Pasta, he had an empty net, and he wasn't able to score. Here comes Savage. Savage ends up getting dunked on by JR. Matthias looking for the solo play, ends up getting bumped out by Pasta. There's a lot of bumps going on here. Ball back out of the side wall, bounce out mid, and Dragon's not going to be able to save on that one. JR ends up not being able to maintain possession, but he will end up looking for the follow. Back over to Confucius Dragon. Ball back out to the side wall is Matthias. Matthias to Cannoli. It's going to be a team pinch to hit the ball down. Savage ends up helping out the other team, puts it up the backboard. Matthias misses. JR going to take his time into the air dribble. Looks at the flip reset. Can he get it? No! And with a minute into overtime, Team Black still yet to have gotten the game win. But now over to Cannoli. Over to the sidewall once again. Here comes Cannoli. It's going to be over to the side wall. It's going to be off the backboard. Savage with the follow-up. Isn't able to get back to it. It's going to be back to Cannoli. Cannoli looking for the follow-up. Pinches it mid to JR. And it's going to be saved away over to Confucius Dragon. Dragon now ends up leaving it for Matthias. Matthias pops the ball up. It's going to be back to Dragon. Dragon going to get back to it. It's going to be over to Cannoli. Cannoli now trying to maintain possession with the 50-50. Gets the ball past one. Has an empty net here if he can play his cards right. Pops it over one. Gets it over two. And Cannoli will clutch it for his team. And now, if Team Aqua want to get their first tournament win, they're going to have to reverse sweep here in the grand finals. Match 3. This is triple championship point for Team Black. All they need is one win out of the next 3 matches, and they are your champions. Savage pops the ball forward over to JR. JR into the air, ends up getting beat out by Matthias, but it's going to be a great follow-up there from Cannoli. Cannoli, this is his tournament to win. He has stepped up so much this entire week, this entire last 2-3 weeks, and is trying to put his team on the map. Ball hits hard over Matthias. Matthias will get the last second save, but Team Black have already started piling on the pressure. Ball back to the back wall. Ball bounces out mid, and Matthias will not be able to get the ball on target, but he will maintain possession at least for a quick moment in time. Double commit from Team Black, but ends up working out to their favor. Cannoli will look for a strong shot. Matthias will clear the ball over to the corner and try to maintain possession. Ends up giving it away, though, and Pasta will try to get the ball forward. Ball bounces out mid. Over to JR. Confused Dragon will get to the ball. It's going to be over to Matthias. Matthias gets the ball past one. Now, over to Cannoli. Cannoli now looking for possession. Going to be trying to push the ball forward. Team Aqua still trying to get their first win of the grand finals. Their first ever win against Team Black, as a matter of fact, on the line right now. Matthias off the corner. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, Team Black are looking so strong. They've finally figured out that they should not get carried by JR. They should play as a team, and JR will step up when he needs to. And it's allowing them to look like the best team in Academy. JR fakes it past everybody, gets it past one, couldn't get it past two, and now it's going to be over to Cannoli. Cannoli, he stepped up every single day this entire day so far. Once again, it's going to be over to Confucius. Over to Cannoli, and Cannoli will put the ball in the back of the net. Cannoli stepping up. He wants this win. He wants the back-to-back tournament champ wins. Can we see it happen? Oh my goodness. But now, back into the hands of Team Sapphire, Team Aqua. Team Aqua are going to try and have to get this win here. If Team Aqua don't win at least one game, that's going to be a sweep. But with a brilliant shot from JR off the backboard, that's going to be a 2-goal lead. Look at JR off the backboard, puts it into the top left. The mechanics out of this Academy team is insane. Minutes left on the clock. Everybody, if you would have asked me or told me that Academy would look like this in just a short season, I would not have believed you. But now they're looking like some of the most mechanical players in the league, and they're going to try and continue to push their way to the promotion relegation tournament. Team Green and whoever else might go down to that promotion relegation tournament, you have to be keeping up your practice. You have to make sure that even if you go down, you can face off against the mechanics of Team Aqua and Team Black, or Team Black and more specific. They're looking strong enough to maybe even go to the main league. And there we go, JR getting the second goal on the board. 2 minutes left on the clock, and they're continuing to look like the better team. JR puts it into the back of the empty net, and Team Black about to be your back-to-back champs. But ladies and gentlemen, the game is not over yet. Even though my voice is gone, Team Black are ready to play, and they're continuing to pile on the pressure. Matthias over to JR. JR now pops the ball over to the side. Over to Pastafarian, over to JR. JR into the air, looks for a pass mid, couldn't get back to it. Now back over to Savage. Savage over to Cannoli, and Cannoli isn't able to get back to it. Cannoli to the backboard, and it's going to be shot on target by Pastafarian. Cannoli with the playmaker, 4-0, and they're continuing to show that they are the best academy team. And don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen, even when I say they're the best academy team, that is a feat. We have seen so many teams continue to improve. Team Aqua, before this grand final, had not lost a single match, not just a single series. They didn't lose a single individual game, and now they're about to get swept by the reigning champs. This is Rocket League at its finest. Matthias, though, the game is not over. He puts one in the back of the net. Now with 1:20, Team Aqua are going to look to see if they can pull off a comeback of a lifetime. Oh my goodness, ladies and gentlemen, give Team Aqua your hope. Give them what they need. Cheer them on. They need your energy, folks, in the chat. Cheer on Team Aqua. If you're a fan of Team Black, cheer on Team Black. Let's hope the rest of this game is going to continue to be a good one. And Pastafarian gets his second goal with 1 minute left on the clock. Savage just couldn't get back to it. Minute left on the clock. 4-goal lead for Team Black. I think they've done it. However, ladies and gentlemen, it is not impossible. Season 5, Team Purple versus Team Gray. Team Gray were leading 4-0. And in the final minute, Team Purple scored 5 goals in order to get the win. No overtime needed. Can Team Aqua repeat what happened? Or will Team Black clutch out the series? JR looking for a pass back over to Cannoli. Cannoli shoots a shot down, saved away by Dragon. 40 seconds left on the clock. Back over to Matthias. Matthias shoots. He scores. And now back to a 3-goal deficit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is possible. We've seen it before, but will we see it now in the grand finals? Ball, it's a bad kickoff. It's off the backboard. Dragon messes up Matthias' shot. Savage gets speed, and oh my goodness, that has to be the end on that one. GR taking his time, looking for the clip, couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Matthias pushing the ball forward, it's off the backboard. Now, back over to Pastafarian, looks for the shot, and he gets the ball. It's saved away by Matthias. But ladies and gentlemen, we have Team Black, your Tournament 2 champions, your back-to-back champions.